right out of college, I was married, I had kids. Then I had to leave my job. Now I'm a single mother. I rejoined the corporate after a period of 6.5 years. I was recruited as a fresher. So then I started with a very bare minimum salary. Now I've come to a comfortable place to start thinking about putting my kids through college, my retirement, and so on.
I have to congratulate you on a journey extremely well lived so far. Now let's come to the interesting bit, which is your actual investments. Then in 5 years, not a big difference, but you begin to see the difference in 10 and 15 years. And in 15 years, it is wild.
This is amazing, Ankur. Thank you.
इस हफ्ते के मनी मैटर्स में हमारे साथ हैं फ्रॉम चेन्नई somebody who wishes to be anonymous and हम उनके concerns and request को deeply respect करते हुए उनको ये anonymity देंगे. We will discuss everything that she has to share about her personal finance journey and try and help her in whatever capacity we can. Welcome to Money Matters.
Thank you, Ankur. It's such a pleasure and exciting opportunity to meet with you today.
Lovely.
Looking forward to this conversation. Yeah.
I am looking forward to as well. And thank you for joining in. So we will try and understand where you are from a personal finance perspective. And जो भी आपकी difficulties हैं, जो भी आपके concerns हैं, जो भी आपके doubts हैं, उनको clear करने की कोशिश करेंगे. So why don't you begin by telling a little bit about yourself? आप कहाँ से हैं? Where did you grow up? What have you done? What are you doing right now? Anything that you are comfortable sharing.
Okay. So I'm from Chennai. I did my engineering like every other person. Once I completed my engineering, I was placed in a job here in Chennai. And very soon I was married. I mean, right out of college, I was married. I had kids. And then I had to leave my job to bear these responsibilities in the family. I had 2 children. And after a long period of time, I went through some problems in my marriage. And now I'm a single mother for the last 3.5 years. And I have 2 daughters, and I wanted to be financially independent. I mean, my parents are here to support me, but right from day one, I decided that I would not depend on anyone for anything, like especially related to money. I wanted to stand on my own 2 feet. And by God's amazing grace, I got a job. I rejoined the corporate after a period of 6.5 years, which was a pretty crazy thing at that time. And I was recruited as a fresher. My first job was not considered when I joined here. So then I started with a very bare minimum salary. I was making rent, paying school fees. I don't have alimony. I don't have child support. So all on my own, just living on dal and vegetables,
Wow.
But that was a very interesting period in my time where I learned I had a spreadsheet. I managed every rupee I was tracking, how much I was making, how much I was spending. And that is how my journey began way back in 2021. And then after some very good friends I had who motivated me to switch jobs, then my salary would increase a little bit. And then I got another job where my salary increased by quite a bit. And after about 2.5 years there, now I've come to a comfortable place with some growth in that company to start thinking about putting my kids through college, my retirement, and so on. So that is when I started exploring about personal finance in July this year, I think. And that's when I ran into your channel. And I don't know anything about money or savings. All I know is FD that my parents did way back. And so this was very new, SIPs and stuff. So this got me excited. And that's when I registered with your program. I'm very excited to be here to learn how I can make more better informed decisions in my personal finance journey.
That is incredible. I before we get there, I have to congratulate you on a journey extremely well lived so far. I cannot even begin to imagine how hard it must have been. And the words that you chose, I was paying attention to it. You didn't call the journey difficult at any point. You called it interesting. You had a smile on your face while you were going through all of this. It's almost as if this is so easy for you, but it possibly cannot be. So I'm sure there's a lot of strength and a lot of experience backing you when you say all of that. And absolute respect for where you are. It is commendable how you are so resilient in your demeanor, in your tonality. And I'm not surprised that you are where you are.
Thank
and
you.
I'm sure that things will only get better for you from here on.
Yeah,
I also have to take this moment to outside of personal finance for the
Mhm.
audience who's listening in. This individual, after having experience being qualified as an engineer and having worked, of course, then took a break for nearly 6.5 years. And जब उन्होंने फिर से अपनी corporate journey शुरू करी, she started as a fresher. She started literally from the bottom, rose her way to the top. And to everyone who's listening in, especially वो लोग जो अपने 20s में हैं, it is very important for you to draw inspiration from this, not just for personal finance, but for life in general. कि कभी कभी life puts a full stop on things, whatever you're doing, and that may require you to reset your life and start all over again. And it may seem like क्यों, it's unfair, why is it happening to me, मेरे पास experience है, मेरे पास qualification है, and so on. But it takes a very different mindset to say कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. I'm not going to cry over the years that are lost. I'm going to look forward to the years that I still have. And even if I'm starting from the bottom, I have within me to go where I want to go. And that should be the mindset everyone has. And I'm so glad that I'm speaking to you today. You've made my day already. Lovely. How old are your daughters?
9 and 6.
Lovely. Fantastic. Very, very clear. And जितनी भी मदद कर सकूंगा करूंगा. And I want to clarify this, especially because you are in a position that is very sensitive and very important for you. I am not a financial advisor. I am not qualified to do this. I am not supposed to do this. I don't do this for a living. I don't help anybody else except those who come on this conversation. Whatever I'm going to tell you, it is from my personal experience and the little bit that I know about personal finance. So, whatever I share with you, please don't take it as the only way and the correct way. Do your due diligence, do your homework, speak to a professional, work with a professional, and only then take the steps that you want to take. My intention is to show you the opportunities that you have, the options that you have, so that you at least have a way forward. I hope that is clear.
Yes, Ankur. Thank you very much for taking the time of day.
Absolutely a pleasure. Absolutely a pleasure. Okay, so let's start and understand your finances. Let's start with the income first. So, on a monthly basis, how much is your in hand salary?
My in-hand salary is 1,32,000.
Wonderful, 1,32,000. And are you aware how much is the Provident Fund or PF deduction from this?
Is 1,800.
Okay, so it's the minimum that is getting deducted. Do you, while you've only started recently, but do you have any idea of how much would be your PF balance right now?
I'm not very sure. I think the last I checked close to 1 lakh.
Okay, all right. We're going to assume that it is 1 lakh, but it's okay if you're not aware of it completely. Okay. And is it okay to assume that this is the only income you have right now?
Yes, that is the only.
Wonderful. Okay. Now let's come to the expenditures.
All right. So first, I have this housing loan. This house we got recently. Most of it is what my parents had left me. They wanted to leave after their time, but now because of this problem in the family, they have given it to me ahead of time. So they sold that whole house and got it. So basically, my housing loan was a very small amount. The large portion of it came from the inheritance. Right? So I just took a loan for 15 lakhs. Mostly with the intention of saving for income tax.
Okay.
So my monthly EMI is 16,000.
Okay. 16,000. And when did this housing loan start?
2022 December.
Okay. All right. So it's still very young. Would you have any idea of what is the rate of interest for this housing loan?
Yes, it's 9.3.
9.3%. And do you know what is the duration?
Duration is 13 years.
Okay. 1-3?
Yeah.
Okay.
But one thing I would like to say here is recently when I went through, at that time I didn't know anything, but then I did my research and I found out that with this new tax regime, housing loan doesn't really have any tax thing. So I wanted to close it early. So and then I watched a few YouTube videos where I learned that if you close a loan early, it's better. So I have actually been saving some money every month, putting aside, and I have paid a portion of it by making those prepayments. So
lovely.
Yeah. So what is outstanding is 10,72,000.
Wonderful. That is brilliant. What a great student.
With this housing, I also took an interest-free loan from my parents for 15 lakhs, apart from the
Okay,
inheritance. So
got it. All right.
yes, that is also remaining that I have to.
Okay. Do you pay any amount to them on a monthly basis, or is it something you will pay when you have the amount?
They want me to close the bank loan first, and then I can give it to them. So I have
Okay.
been setting aside some money every month to
Okay.
do all this.
Perfect. Lovely. On that note, and I'm so glad that you're giving me these things outside of personal finance to even speak of. This is nothing to do with the individual we're speaking about, but her story does have a message. A lot of parents want to leave once they are gone a inheritance for their kids. I feel that is a mistake because the timing is not right. When your parents pass, and let's hope that they pass at a good age, 70, 80, whatnot, you'll be 55, 60. At that time, for you to get money is not as valuable as if you were to get that money when you were in your 30s or your 40s. Because that money can actually be put to use for something really valuable for your kids at that point. So if you're a parent listening in and आप अपने बच्चों के लिए कोई भी जायदाद छोड़ना चाहते हैं, think about what could happen अगर वो जायदाद आप अपने जाने के बाद नहीं, but much earlier अपने बच्चों को दे दें. What if you actually pay, as happened in this case, for the house of the kids that they wish to purchase, so that the interest component or the loan component is much lesser? What if you actually paid for them to start a business? What if you actually paid for their kids' education because the amount was whatever it was, क्योंकि वो abroad जा रहे हैं, यहाँ एक बहुत प्राइवेट यूनिवर्सिटी महंगे एजुकेशन के लिए है, whatever the case is, because उस समय उस पैसे की अहमियत बहुत ज्यादा होगी. Once you are gone, and I'm speaking to parents right now, उस समय पे आपके बच्चे 55, 60, शायद 65 साल के होंगे, and they would have hopefully gotten to that stage where the value of money that they inherit from their parents may not be as valuable as it would have been if they got it at 35, 40. तो ये एक चीज ध्यान में रखिएगा, स्पेशली अगर आप एक पेरेंट हैं who is intending to leave behind generational wealth for your children. I just used your story to illustrate that point, and I'm so glad that your parents could and they chose to help you, and I'm so glad that you also chose to take their help in a manner that is respectful, keeping your self-respect intact, and at the same time something that made them feel that they helped you in the moment where you need it. Wonderful. So you're living in your own house,
Yeah.
and you've taken a loan, but you are very smart about it and you intend to pay the loan off very quickly. Great. And abhi aapki EMI 16,000 rupees hai. What else are your expenses, please?
I bought term insurance again very
Okay.
recently.
Lovely.
So that would be 2,655.
Perfect. Would you know what is the cover of the term insurance?
2 crores.
Wonderful. Perfect. Very smart. And do you know till what age are you covered?
I believe 70 or 70
Okay.
to mortgage.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. What else?
So yeah, so these are the two things, and then apart from that, my regular expenses, they like utilities and so
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
petrol, groceries, school fees, all of that comes to 74,300.
Perfect. So we'll assume 75,000.
Sure.
So this includes your school fees, this includes your grocery, all your utilities, all your bills, everything, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Lovely. Wonderful. Perfect. Any other expense? We'll come to your investments later. Any other expense? Do you have a vehicle? Any loan around that?
I have my vehicle. I don't have a loan. I bought it with my savings from my first job.
Perfect. Great. And is the petrol and maintenance of that vehicle built into the 75,000?
Yeah, everything's
Lovely.
included inside.
Lovely. Perfect. Perfect. Wonderful. Fantastic. Great. So if you were to add at least these up for now, this comes to approximately 93 to 94,000 rupees. What are your recurring investments that you are currently making?
Okay. So now these I just started about 3-4 months back.
Okay.
I will tell you the numbers, but once I put this, it's going to exceed my income. So I'll come to
Okay.
that. So,
Okay. Sure.
I wanted to save 50,000 a month in RD
Okay.
for a year, so
Okay.
that uh, I can finish my all these housing loans in about 4 years,
Okay. Okay.
both to the bank and to my parents. So
Sure.
50,000 in RD,
Okay.
and I wanted to travel this summer with kids for the first time. So for that, I have another RD 3,000,
Lovely.
and then PPF
Mm-hmm.
2,000,
Okay.
and then I started SIPs. I think
Mm-hmm.
with the very beginner knowledge that I have about 22,000.
Okay. And is this only
Right.
one SIP or multiple SIPs?
No, multiple.
Okay. Do you mind sharing what all they are?
Sure. Nifty 50 index,
Okay. So SIP one, which is the Nifty 50, how much is that?
4,000.
Perfect.
Nifty large mid cap 250 index
Okay.
fund,
So large and mid cap, how much is that?
2,000.
Okay.
Nifty mid cap 150 index fund,
Okay. Nifty mid cap
2,000.
one. Okay.
Flexi cap 5,000,
Okay.
and another flexi cap 3,000. Small cap 2,000. Blue chip 1,000, and the sectorial one, Digital India one, that one
Okay.
3,000. So
So
I think
this.
sorry, just when you add, I think there's some difference. My
Mhm.
savings and expenses would be exceeding my income, so that is where I realized that I needed more income. So I started looking for jobs. So I have a couple of offers in hand, so my income would be increasing going
Okay.
forward from the next month, from December
Okay. Okay.
to
All
end.
right. So that job is confirmed, and you are okay making these investments going further. Correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Lovely. Lovely. Wonderful. You already have a term insurance. Do you have a health insurance from your company?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have your own personal health insurance?
No, I don't.
All right. So health insurance is none. How much would you have in your bank account right now,
Um,
approximately?
okay, in my savings account, I have 1,10,000.
Okay.
My children's savings, I have 56,000,
All right.
and then I have an FD of 9
Okay.
lakh for my emergency.
Okay. Perfect. Wonderful. I was about to come to that. I'm glad
Okay.
that you have that. Very nice. Really, very nice. I don't think you need this call, but I'm glad. I think I'm learning more from this call than you are. Because you're genuinely an inspiration in so many ways. I haven't asked, and if you're okay, how old are you?
I'm 32 and a half.
Lovely. I love the insistence on the half. Okay, 32 and a half. You're not yet 33. I get it. I
Yeah,
get
yeah.
it. You're like, don't want to. I love it. Okay, wonderful. How much would be approximately the outside of the FD that you have?
Mhm.
How much would be your total investment so far?
Okay.
Considering you only started, you could very well say it's negligible, but
Yeah.
I just wanted to get a number.
So I had a little bit in my savings account, which I made as some lump sum initially. So
Okay.
it's 2,23,000 in
Okay.
SIP so far.
Got it. All right. Perfect. So this is your SIP amount. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to assume that you have about 77,000 per month to invest, which
Mhm.
includes the RD that you have, the two of them, your PF contribution in public provident fund, and your SIPs of around 22,000.
Yeah.
We'll try and see what could be a good mix around that. And
Okay.
you also have already some investments that are parked in, and you have your housing loan and your parents' interest free loan that you wish to give away as
Yes.
soon as possible. Let's say a time frame of 4 to 5 years. Now, my first recommendation will be you should get a health insurance for your daughters and yourself.
Okay.
And this will be a personal insurance. So, my suggestion you should get at least a 5 lakh health insurance cover, which covers all the three of you, yourself and your two daughters. Number two, because you are at a really good salary, you can actually go higher in your life insurance as well. You
Okay.
have a 2 crore insurance. I would suggest that you're still fairly young, 32 and a half. You should try and get either a top up of another 1 to 2 crores from the same plan if it's possible. If it's
Okay.
not possible, get another cover of 2 crores so that you have at least 4 of life insurance, which I think should be reasonable at your age and income, even though your expenses are not that high. But 1 lakh monthly expense, and you want to ensure that if anything happens to you, your family is protected, which are your daughters. So they should be able to survive for a foreseeable point till they start earning from the corpus of the life insurance, notwithstanding the other investments. So I would say increase your life insurance by 2 CR, either a top up or a new one.
Okay.
You have health insurance from your corporate and you will get one on your own. You have life insurance, you have an emergency fund. And that means now, whatever is the corpus, while keeping your expenses as low as possible, you can invest as much as possible and build a happy corpus for your self and, of course, pay off everything.
Okay.
Now, here's what I will suggest. I will treat your home loan and your parents' interest-free loan as different. The reason is because your parents' interest-free loan is thankfully an interest-free loan. And because it's from parents, I will assume that they are in no hurry to receive it. While you are in a hurry to pay it,
Yeah.
but it's not that if you don't pay it in 4 years, anything is going to happen. It's not that you have to pay it every year, else they will think that you don't intend to pay. Nothing like that. So what we will do is we'll follow an approach where we're going to try and invest an amount towards a lump sum payment in 5 years or so, towards the parents' interest-free loan. But the home loan, which is interest bearing, we will become very mechanical on a yearly basis itself to try and reduce the loan as soon as possible and finish it off again in 5 to 7 years. Okay, but the strategy will be very different. So here's what I would do for the home loan, and I'm recording all of this on an Excel sheet, but you are free to record at your end as well. I will share this Excel sheet with you after the call is over.
Okay.
For the home loan, there are 2 things that I would do. One, every year I will pay 2 extra EMIs at the end of the year, which means you will go to the bank and you say, here is 32,000, which is twice the EMI, and this is prepayment. With this, reduce the tenure of the loan. Don't reduce the EMI. Reduce the tenure of the loan. And when you are at it, tell them every year, increase my EMI by 10%. So right now your EMI is 16,000. Next year, or let's say if you were to go to the bank tomorrow, from next month onwards, your EMI will be 17,600,
Okay.
which is 10% plus of 16,000. The year after that, it will be 17,600 plus 1,760. The next year, so on and so forth. When you do this, because you already have about 10.72 outstanding, my prediction is that the 13-year loan will become approximately a 6.5 year loan.
Okay.
You will save on nearly 40% of the interest, if not more. And this will not take a really big burden on you to invest or park your money separately, which is what you're doing right now with the 50,000 RD. Because unfortunately, the RD is not making you any money.
Yeah.
I don't know what rate of interest that you're getting, but my guess is you're getting between, at best, 5 to 6%.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And that means it's not even beating inflation after adjusting for tax. And it's a big sum of your investment amount.
Yeah.
So what you want to do is you want to be smart with your money and say, no, I'm going to pay off the home loan in a disciplined fashion that doesn't stress me financially, because 32,000 in a year is very manageable. And 10% EMI every month is also very manageable. It's far lesser than the 50,000.
Yes.
And whatever money I save from that 50,000, then I will actually invest in the market for at least 5 years, because I know that I can get predictably good returns, much better than the RD over a 5-year period.
Okay.
And that will then help me take my money forward.
This is
Okay.
exactly what I wanted guidance on, because I wasn't sure if putting my money in RT was better, or how do I
Yeah.
get this something
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. And I think you did the right thing with what you knew by starting the RD. But now with this new information, hopefully this will be better. So this will be your home loan. Now, what this will do is, let's assume that for now, for the next 1 year at least, you have to, in addition to the 16,000, you have to now pay 1,600 more. Okay? But
Okay.
it frees up from the 50,000 rupees, 48,400,
Yes. Yeah.
which is a lot of money if you were to now start investing it
Yeah.
into the stock market. So, including the PF, we now have 77,000 rupees a month to invest. This is including your PF. Okay? So, now step number 2. I noticed that your PF deduction from your salary is the minimum PF deduction of 1,800 that
Yeah.
the government allows.
Yes.
My suggestion, PF, while it's not the best rate of interest, it's about 7.2% or 7.4%, but it keeps changing. The good thing is that it is tax free once you withdraw it after a period of time. It's fixed rate of return, so you don't have to think whether it's up or down in that sense. And it's government backed, so it's secure. So, what you should ideally do is you should go to your company, whichever is the next company that you start with, and tell them, hey, I want to pay what is the 6% ideal contribution to my PF, which is what the government mandates. Not mandates, but it says should be the ideal contribution. So increase EPF to 5 to 6K per month, which then leaves us with approximately 75,000 rupees to invest. Of that 75,000, the 3,000 that you have put in an RD for travel, please continue. In fact, if I were you, I will say make it 5,000. You are really squeezing yourself, and I understand the mother and the fighter in you, but I'd say make it 5,000 because you still have a fairly good surplus to play with, and you'll have a nice, happy 60,000 per year corpus built. You can go for a nice vacation. You deserve it. So I'd say make the travel RD to 5,000. Now let's come to the interesting bit, which is your actual investments. So we are now looking at approximately 72,000 rupees to be invested every month, which is a really nice, happy sum of money. The way that I would do this is, you right now have 8 SIPs, but that doesn't necessarily give a better result. The reason why is because when a lot of people make the mistake that a different SIP means a different product. No, because SIPs invest in companies. So if the companies are the same, you're technically investing in the same companies.
Yeah.
So, for example, you have 2 flexi caps. And it's quite possible that if you were to click on which are the companies that the mutual fund invests in, there will be an overlap.
Yeah.
Then you have a blue chip. So it's quite possible that if you double click on what is the mutual fund investing in from a blue chip perspective and you compare it with, let's say, the Nifty 50 or the large mid cap mutual fund, there will be an overlap. So you're essentially taking the same bet. What will be different is the weights in which the bet is taken. So I always say this, make it very, very easy for you to invest so that the cognitive friction is lower. And my suggestion always is 3 mutual funds. Mutual fund 1, which you already have, is the Nifty 50 mutual fund. Given your age and given the fact that you have 2 daughters, given the fact that you're a single parent, this is where you should park the most amount of your money because it's also the safest of all mutual funds. So I would say a 40,000 SIP in just one, and pick any one. No? Then a mid cap or a flexi cap, which you already have, that will be the second SIP. And I would do a 20,000 SIP there. And then finally will be a small cap SIP where I will do a 12,000 SIP. The expected rate of returns, a Nifty 50 will give you over a 5+ year period, hopefully a 12% return. A
Yeah.
mid cap or a flexi cap is expected to give a 15%, and a small cap is expected to give a 18%. You may be getting very high returns right now, but that's also because the market has gone quite crazy. So it's very natural that the sanity will come in at some point of time. Now, let's look at what this does if these investments continue for 5 years, 10 years, and 15 years. Because that's the kind of time frame you are looking for. And what we have to ensure is that in this time frame of 5, 10, 15 years, your daughters will also be ready for college. You will have to pay your parents' loan as well. And you, of course, have to secure your own financial freedom at an independent level too. So the sums have to start making sense at that point. So let me now use a SIP calculator to see what will happen. At the end of 5 years, you will have approximately 63 lakh rupees as an investment corpus. That means you can safely pay your parents the 15 lakh that you owe them.
Yeah.
This has not come at any additional burden. So your home loan is also nearly getting paid off. And all of your other expenses, assuming that they are intact and with the increasing income, are also taken care of. If you were to do this for 10 years, which is when your first daughter will be ready for college and so you'll need that first big investment, the corpus size would be 1 crore 88 lakh rupees, which I think should be reasonable for the first daughter to go to college and in a good manner. If you were to do it for 15 years, this number will grow to 4 crore 46 lakhs. It's insane how fast the money will grow.
Yeah.
And this is no increase in the EMI. So you're continuing for 10 or 15 years with the same 40,000, with the same 20,000, with the same 12,000, and you're getting to these numbers. Now, I wanted to also go one step further and say, you will keep growing, you will keep earning, and you will, of course, want to increase your EMI as well. So why don't we look at what's called a step up, which means just the same way as we increase the home EMI by 10%, what if you increase your SIP amount by 10% every year as well? If that were to happen, then in 5 years, not a big difference. From the 63 lakhs that you would have, it goes to about 74 lakhs. But you begin to see the difference in 10 and 15 years. In 10 years, the normal flat SIP will be 1 crore and 88 lakhs, but the step up SIP of 10% will be 2 crores and 70 lakhs. Nearly 1 crore more. And in 15 years, it is wild. Your normal SIP would be 4 crores 46 lakhs, but your step up 10% SIP will be 7 crores 42 lakhs. This will also be near about the time when your second daughter is ready for college.
Yeah, and the first one probably gets married.
What? No, not at the age of 21.
No,
not
never.
at the age, not at the age of 24. You've learned. You've learned.
Yeah, I learned
Yes, you've learned.
Yeah.
But no, and I'm sure she will make the right decision, and so will you. I was being flippant, but this will basically set you up in many ways for life.
Yeah.
So you're right now 32, and let's say you retire in 20 years or 25 years, whatever the time is. At that time, you will have a corpus, let's say 4 crores, 6 crores, whatever it is. And you will also have a sense of how much is my monthly expense. Let's say at that time it is 3 lakhs. So what will you do? Every year, you will sell how much you need for that year. So let's say you will sell 36 lakhs worth of mutual funds. The remaining will continue to grow. You're not adding anything because now you don't have any income.
Yeah.
So there is no SIP. All SIPs have stopped.
Yeah.
But you are now doing a systematic withdrawal plan, which is called a SWP. And that will happen on a yearly basis. So every year, whatever is the money that you need to survive, to pay your bills, to travel, to buy whatever you want, you will sell that amount, keep the rest to continue to grow. Next year, repeat the same process. Sell for 1 year, rest continues to grow. And if you keep doing that, you'll be surprised that your corpus will also keep growing because it's growing at 12%, 13% on an average.
Mhm.
And if your needs are only growing at, say, 5% or 6% every year, you will never run out of money.
Yeah.
And you'll basically have money for the rest of your life.
This SWP I start only like after 20 years or so. Right?
Yes. When you retire, when you know I'm done and
Yeah.
all of this amount, that is what I need.
This is amazing. Good. Thank you.
I am so happy to have shared all of this with you because generally you have earned it yourself. You've played this really well. And please accept my congratulations again for taking some very wise, very, very long term decisions, which I'm glad are paying off so well. And I'm sure that they will continue to pay very well.
Thank you. This is great. Like now I am better informed than just watching, videos online. This is very personalized. So
Perfect. I am so happy to have helped. And I will share this Excel sheet with you. And I look forward to hearing from you in a year or 2 years on how you're doing remarkably well. And in fact, you are overachieving all of your targets that we had set out.
sounds
Great.
good.
All the best. Thank you so much for participating. God bless. Give my love to your daughters as well. And stay safe and keep smiling.
Thank you, Ankur. Bye bye.
All the best. Bye.
Bye.
मेरी नई किताब मेक एपिक मनी 1 महीने के अंदर ही 1 लाख कॉपीज बेचकर हिंदुस्तान की बेस्ट सेलर बन चुकी है. आप इसको ऑर्डर कर सकते हैं Amazon. इसी के साथ मेरी पहली 2 किताबें गेट एपिक शिट डन एंड डू एपिक शिट भी बेस्ट सेलर्स हैं. Amazon पे अवेलेबल हैं. ऑडियो बुक हिंदी फॉर्मेट एंड इंग्लिश फॉर्मेट. ये 3 किताबें आपकी रीडिंग जर्नी को एक आदत में बनाने के लिए.